Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Moving Markets Podcast. It is Wednesday, September 24th, 2025. The U.S. stock market has been open for about an hour and a half right now. I did not do a podcast yesterday. It wasn't a mistake that you didn't see anything. It was not planned to be that way. It unfortunately turned out that way. I simply had some things come up that thwarted my ability to get online when I wanted to. So as a result, the day passed and I did not get a podcast done. So yesterday, I'm not going to go into a lot of recapping of what happened yesterday. You're well aware of what happened yesterday. The market started out a little bit positive. And then after Jerome Powell spoke, it went negative. And look, we were due for a little bit of profit taking. The S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow. I think all of them were just, kind of due for a little bit of profit taking. So I don't think it's a big deal. I don't think it's something that we should get too worked up about or feel too bad about as far as having a day that things sold off a little bit. The S&P is down a tiny bit more today. I think, it's kind of moving back and forth from positive to negative territory. As I said that, it was down a little bit, then it was up for a split second, then it was down again. There's a 1 to 2 minute delay on these numbers. So I've seen the NASDAQ move into positive territory 4 or 5 times today, go back into negative territory. It's just kind of one of those days. There's nothing really on the economic calendar. Mortgage applications came out this morning. New home sales, I think, was a surprising beat over what was expected, but it didn't really move the needle at all on the markets. The consensus estimate was 650,000 new home sales. The actual was 800,000. So that's a pretty good beat. Pretty positive number. That's good for the economy, but it didn't really move the needle as far as the major indexes are concerned. Probably some home builder stocks went up a little bit on that news, but again, that didn't really, it didn't dramatically move the needle on anything else. The Dow Jones, I think, has stayed, even though it's dipped a lot from where it opened up. The Dow opened up really, really strong. It dipped a lot from there. I think even all this wobbling here in this first hour and a half, I don't believe the Dow has dipped into negative territory today. But it's only up a tiny bit. I would, for all intents and purposes, I would say the stock market, the 3 major indexes are very, very flat this morning. That's the only way I would describe it. And I don't think we should be surprised by that. I do think the economy, I think there's a lot of things to be positive about. I think there's a lot of things to be excited about. But I think GDP numbers tomorrow, that final GDP estimate, has a better chance of moving things than anything that was going on today. And then PCE could move things pretty dramatically tomorrow. Let's spend the rest of our time talking about Micron. I want to talk about Micron specifically because Micron had nothing but good information to report in their earnings at the close of the market yesterday. All of the information on Micron was positive. Why Micron is selling off right now is, honestly, it's nothing more or nothing less than a function of Micron has been maybe a little bit too bullish for too long relative to what to what everything else is doing right now. It just the fact that Micron has had such a run to the upside, I think it was hard for them to give a number that was so impressive that it could keep going up. You've had this run, and this has literally just been a run of about, what are we calling that? Maybe 2 weeks. That's probably about 2 weeks worth of movement right there. I mean, this is just a phenomenal run to the upside, maybe 3 weeks. And it makes it hard for Micron to impress so much that it could continue up. Now, we're in a tricky spot with a long iron condor, in the sense that this drop on Micron today puts us right in between the strike prices of our 2 long options, and we need to be up here above the strike price of our short option or down here below the strike price of our short put. And we're not there. We've got to see Micron move a lot farther to the downside the rest of the day today and tomorrow, or we've got to see Micron move quite a bit to the upside. So it's only Wednesday, and it's only Wednesday morning. There's more room for Micron to move today. There's more room for Micron to move tomorrow. My gut feeling tells me that as positive as Micron's numbers were, you're going to see this move to the downside sort of alleviate a little bit today. And I think we finish up closer to where it ended the day yesterday. And then I think Micron will build on that tomorrow. The tricky thing is, if we get any upward movement from Micron today and at the beginning of the day tomorrow, then you worry about possibly a PCE number that is high. That's an inflation reading. You worry about a PCE number that is possibly high and then causing it to fall back down on Friday and not fall back down nearly far enough to put us where we want to be on the trade. So we've got to see enough movement up today and tomorrow to put us back into the territory where we could be profitable, or enough of a fall today and tomorrow where we wouldn't be worried about what a PCE number does on Friday. And it could affect it in either direction. So it really puts us in kind of a precarious spot. If by tomorrow mid-morning, like mid-morning being, let's say, 10 o'clock my time, which would be middle of the day on the East Coast, if we're not profitable or close to a break-even spot by 10 a.m. Mountain Time tomorrow on Micron, we probably have to adjust or bail out of the trade. An adjustment might involve taking the short call and rolling it down, taking the short put and rolling it up, and turning this into basically a traditional iron condor, or even a condor trade. Not even an iron condor, but a condor trade, or a reverse iron condor, where the strike price of the two short options are sort of inverted. In other words, right now we've got long call, long put, short put. We might end up rolling the short call down here and the short put up here so that they're kind of crossed over each other. And we end up with a short put at a higher strike price than a short call. And what that does is probably guarantee us a loss, but it locks in that loss at a smaller loss than what we would be at otherwise. Right now, I believe I'm down about 25% on the trade. I'd love to see Micron either fall a lot farther. The lowest point that it's been today, will just show us our day high and low. Yeah, it's right up here. Our highest point of the day so far. Actually, I'm not seeing. I'm still getting used to stock charts. Let's see. Our high of the day has been 166. Our low of the day has been 161. We need Micron to be trading at 162.50 or 170, I believe. I probably need to go back and double check. I didn't put it in here yet, so I'll double check on Micron. But stay tuned into Discord as I will give an update as soon as I'm ready to close or adjust on Micron. I'll give an update. Our other trade that we opened beginning of the week, we're already up 6% on our Marvell trade. Anybody that got into Marvell, 6% is not a huge gain, but we're already up 6%. And we've only been in the trade a couple of days. I do like Marvell for a longer term trade, though. Be aware that I think Marvell has got a huge amount of upside. I think the reason I went clear out to 6 of 26 for the long call expiration, that's nearly a 9-month leap option. The reason I went that far out is because I'm bullish on this company long term. I'm willing to play it through an earnings report in the form of a synthetic collar trade, which means we just basically add a long put or possibly a bear put or a bear put calendar spread to get us through earnings, just in case of some pullback. But I'm very long-term bullish on this company and plan on being in this one for some time. I love the fact that we've only been in a couple of days. We're already up 6%. I expect that 6% to get much bigger over time. And so looking good on that. Nvidia was giving back a little bit today as well as yesterday. Not worried about it. Nvidia is still an incredibly strong company. They're only down a tiny bit right now. not as far as they've been a little bit earlier. Palantir was also down a little bit today. Again, not too worried about it. I think Palantir, I'm very bullish on Palantir long time, not overly worried about this. So all in all, I think we're looking really good. We've got some collar trades that we'll probably be making some adjustments to today and tomorrow. Otherwise, I like where things are at. I like where we're looking going into the last part of the week. We just got to keep an eye on that Micron trade and make sure we do something with it in the way of an adjustment or an exit tomorrow by about noon Eastern time. So keep an eye out on Discord for possible changes on that. And otherwise, have a good rest of your day. And I will make sure I get a podcast tomorrow and Friday as well. Yesterday was just kind of a one-off. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.